Welcome to A Leader's Journey, the podcast for leaders who deeply believe there is a better way to lead and desire to create their unique journey towards becoming a legacy leader. I'm your host, Shannon Hammond. Over the last 20 years as a corporate leader and leadership performance coach, I've learned that many leaders believe there is a predefined path they have to follow and struggle leaning into their unique gifts that will create lasting impact and fulfillment. They end up feeling stuck, unhappy, and unfulfilled in the day-to-day of their role, and are challenged with why, since they have experienced success in their career and in life. I'm here to help leaders think through their leadership journey, learn how to ask themselves better questions, and learn the formula to create their leadership journey by design. If you are ready to design your unique leadership journey, lead with confidence, and love the teams you lead, then you are in the right place. Let's do this. Hello, my friends and fellow leaders. I'm glad to have you back here with me this week on the podcast. And if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I am so happy that you are here. I know your time is valuable, and I'm grateful you have chosen to spend it here with me this week. If you've listened to the podcast or connected with me in any capacity, you know I'm extremely passionate about journaling. If you don't know me, hi, I'm Shannon, journaling enthusiast. So today on the podcast, we are going to talk about all the things related to journaling, what journaling is, the benefits of journaling as a leader, how you can get started in journaling if this is not a habit or a practice that you currently have, and some of my favorite journaling tools in hopes to inspire you to start journaling. So let's start with what journaling is. Journaling is a practice of writing down your thoughts, your feelings, your expressions, your experiences, reflections, and contemplations. It can be in various forms, such as goal setting and planning, reflection, creative innovation, gratitude, and documenting successes, just to give you a few ideas. Journaling is a practice that creates self-awareness, reduces stress, increases happiness and life satisfaction, increases clarity for what you want, and it allows you to maintain an ongoing connection with yourself. Journaling is not a perfect paper that you are writing. It's not being scored for a grade, so you don't need to worry about perfect sentences, paragraphs, or punctuation. It's not about perfection. It's not a novel or a book that follows a specific structure. It's all about creative expression and connecting with yourself. So if you don't like the term journaling, that's okay. And know that it doesn't resonate with everybody. And for some, it might bring up some negative experiences or feelings, or just a feeling of like, oh, I don't know if journaling is really for me. I would encourage you to use then some other words that resonate more deeply with you, maybe like reflection, contemplation, or writing. If you think you are not a person that journals or you can't journal, I'm going to challenge that belief and ask you to be open to stepping outside of your comfort zone. If you know how to write or type and you know words, then you can journal. If you are truly committed to achieving your dreams, performing and living life with excellence, and summoning the best of who you are, then I challenge you to journal. Back in the day when I was young, keeping a diary was popular. A diary is journaling. So if you, like me, did that when you were younger, you can do it now. Step into courage. Step into who you desire to be and try it. Your future self will thank you for it. I deeply believe that journaling can change your life and your leadership journey. It's a low risk, high reward activity, so you really have nothing to lose by doing it. And it is the one action that I take that has had the most profound impact on my leadership journey and growth, and my growth as a human. Now, you're probably wondering, what are the benefits of journaling? Well, I'm going to share some of them with you today. And there are many other benefits, but these are the ones that I have seen show up for me and that others have shared have been the benefits for them when they have stepped into and have consistently had a journaling practice. One of the benefits of journaling is that it creates clarity for your future. It allows you to really get clear on who you want to be, where you are going, and the goals and action steps that you need to take to achieve who you desire to be and where you want to go. Really connecting with your future on a consistent basis is what gives you clarity about it. And journaling is an activity that does allow you to do that as you are thinking through your thoughts. Maybe ideas and things that come up, you're going to write them down, and that's a way for you to connect with it. It also allows you to be consistently thinking about and writing who you desire. So you're solidifying that in your mind and you're showing up as that person each and every day. Another benefit of journaling is identifying patterns. As you journal, if you get really consistent with it, whether it's a daily practice, maybe it's something you do a couple times a day, you will start to see patterns emerge, whether that's in thoughts, in feelings, maybe in actions that you're taking. Maybe you identify that pattern in something you're not doing, where you're not consistently showing up for yourself or for others or for somebody in your family. When you know those patterns, it allows you to either continue with them if they are serving you and helping you achieve your goals, or start thinking through ways that you can start to break those patterns if they're not serving you or they're getting in the way of you achieving what it is that you truly desire in life. When we can see those patterns, we know then what are the things that we need to continue to do, what are the things that we not need to do, and we know then how we can make better decisions in the future when we come across those particular situations. A third benefit to journaling is to create greater self-awareness. As I shared earlier, journaling is a practice of creating self-awareness. And as you get consistent with journaling, you're going to start noticing and recognizing your strengths, areas of challenge and growth for you, what energizes you and what drains you. And that's one that for me, I always felt like I was clear on what energizes and drains me. But as I got deeper into my journaling practice and more consistent with it, I started to recognize that there was a specific area in my leadership that I was consistently rewarded and recognized for, and that was the ability to get things done. A lot of people in my organization knew that if they wanted something done and they needed help, or they just needed it done, they would come to Shannon and Shannon would be able to get it done for them. And while that was true, I did get it done. I met or exceeded the expectations of my peers or the leaders above me that were looking for specific outcomes from that project or task or whatever it is that I was doing. It was all done well. And at that time, I felt like I was successful. And I was, based on my definition of success at that time. But as I have evolved as a leader and through my journaling practice, my definition of success has changed. And I recognized through journaling and consistently connecting with what was going well and where it wasn't and how I was feeling about it, I started to recognize that pattern and create that awareness for myself that, well, yes, I can get things done. There were many times that it came at a cost for me. And that was at my energy. That, well, yes, I got that project done and I gave it my best effort. At the end of the day, I was tired and exhausted. So I would sit on the couch and watch TV all night. I would skip my workouts. I would hit a drive-through to get something to eat instead of cooking a meal at home. Because again, I had drained all of my energy on some of the tasks that I was doing that really weren't serving me. And I was able to create that awareness through my journaling practice and be able to make some changes. So I was able to focus more on things that actually gave me energy. So I could not only meet my professional commitments as a leader, but I could meet my personal goals that I had as well. In that process of creating self-awareness through journaling, you'll also be able to identify what are the things that are derailing you. What are the things that are getting you off track? Where do you have distractions that show up that prevent you or stop you from taking action, or that get in the way of when you're trying to get something done, what's coming in that might be throwing you a curveball, and then now you can't proceed with the task that you are on or that project that you are on. Another benefit of journaling is shifting your thoughts. We get in our own head a lot as humans. We get stuck in this cycle of overwhelm and overthinking things. We tend to make things bigger than they really are. And when you can sit there and you can identify that through journaling, you're going to be able to start shifting the thoughts that you have, because you will start to recognize some patterns that maybe you're thinking things that don't serve you, or maybe they're just thoughts that you really don't want to have. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're bad thoughts, but they might be thoughts that just don't align with your goals and the person that you're striving to be. A lot of times we get in our head, we start telling ourselves stories of things that have happened or how it is that we saw a particular situation. And the stories that we tell ourselves, they're not always right. And oftentimes they're wrong. And so when you start journaling and you start getting all of that out of your head and start looking objectively at what it is that you're journaling, you're going to be able to shift your thoughts, because you're going to recognize that cycle of overthinking, of stories that you're telling yourself, and then be able to start implementing things that will help you shift those thoughts and shift those stories to something that serves you and serves those around you. Another benefit of journaling is documenting your wins. And this is something that we are not always really good about. We always think of wins as these big things that have happened in our life. When I write this book, when I have 10 people on my team that have been promoted into new roles, when I complete this project that probably is going to last over multiple years, we don't always give ourselves credit for the little wins along the way. And when you start journaling, that's a great opportunity for you to start documenting those wins, to sit there at the end of your workday or at the end of your day in whole and ask yourself, where was I successful today? Where did I have a small win that I want to give myself credit for? When you start documenting those, you'll be able to see over time where you have little wins every single day. That 1% that all you needed to grow in that day to get something done, it might be something small that you have, but it is a win. And when you see those day over day, week over week, month over month, you start to build momentum. And when you look back over the year, you're going to recognize that you actually accomplished more than you would typically give yourself credit for. And that's all done through journaling. Another benefit of journaling is to be able to connect with and integrate your feelings and emotions. And again, this is another one that a lot of people really struggle with. Sometimes we start feeling things and we don't know what that feeling is right away, or we haven't really connected with it and allowed ourselves to feel how it is that we are feeling, whether that's joy and excitement, maybe it's discouragement or frustration or sadness. It doesn't matter what your feelings are. You need to be able to connect with them and integrate them into your day and allow yourself space to be able to feel those things. Through journaling, you can get your day off of your shoulders. And a lot of times as leaders, we carry some really heavy burdens. There might be challenging things that are happening in the lives of our team, and we carry those feelings alongside of them because we want what's best for them. We want them to be happy and successful. And when they're going through some challenges and struggles, and they might be feeling down or having challenges or frustrations, you as a leader, you're going to feel that. And when you start journaling, it allows you to get all of that out. Again, express and connect with those feelings so you can release them at the end of your day, get them off your shoulders, and not carry them with you into the next meeting, the next day, or into time with your family. Being able to connect and integrate with your emotions and feelings also allows you to really be able to process burnout and stress, and identify where that's coming from for you. For everybody, it is a little bit different. There are things that cause one person stress that don't impact another person or wouldn't cause them stress. And being able to process where it is that you are at, how you are feeling, what was the cause of that stress? Be able to see that pattern over time to say, I know when I start here and I start seeing some consistency in this feeling or these activities, or I'm not doing these particular activities. I know the last time that I got here, I felt burnt out. Being able to see those patterns through journaling and be able to process that will allow you to be able to make better decisions in the future. So that way you can prevent that burnout and stress. And it is possible to prevent burnout and stress. That's not to say that you will never feel them, but you can prevent them. So that way it's not something that you're feeling on a consistent basis and it starts to negatively impact your leadership and your life. Connecting with your feelings also allows you to improve your mental, social, and physical well-being. When you are in tune with your feelings, you know the things that cause specific feelings, and you know then how to make decisions to generate the feelings that you desire. You're going to be in a better space from a mental health perspective and a mental well-being perspective. You're going to be able to know when you need to step away so you can take time to rest, recharge, relax, and then come back at your work. When you're feeling better mentally, you make better decisions. You connect better with people, whether that's your team at work, your peers, maybe your leader, or your family at home. And when you have better relationships with those you're working with and your family and friends, your social well-being goes up because you are happy to be around the people that you spend the majority of your time with. And you know that when you're around them, they're going to energize you. And when you're around great people and you feel good from a mental perspective, obviously you feel good physically. You have more energy and vibrancy. You're probably making better decisions to connect with your workout routine or your nutrition habits, making meals at homes, getting to the gym, going out for a walk, because you know the feelings that those decisions generate for you. And when you take care of yourself physically, you take care of yourself better mentally and socially. It's all interconnected. Another benefit of journaling is being able to improve your leadership skills. When you start journaling, it's going to allow you to really observe yourself and be able to reflect on where it is that you see yourself today and where you desire to be in the future as a leader. You'll start tracking your performance. What worked well for you that day? What didn't work well? What did you learn? And it's something that you want to carry forward. When is it that you need to pivot and maybe make a change in either your leadership, maybe an action that you're taking in your calendar, in a communication or connection with one of your teammates or employees? You're going to have all of that information because you're connecting to your thoughts every single day and really being in touch with who it is that you desire to be. And you'll be able to very easily see, are you showing up in alignment with your leadership? You'll also be able to solidify what it is that you've learned because, again, you're connecting with that and you're going to be able to see those patterns and the progress that you've made as a leader. You might be able to look back in your journal 2, 3, 6, 8 months ago and say, wow, I was really struggling to manage my time. And now I'm able to take lunch every day and leave at 5 o'clock. So you'll be able to solidify the things that you've learned, see where you have opportunities to continue to build on strengths that you have as a leader, and where you can put a little bit of focus on the areas that you need to improve. It also gives you a different perspective because you'll be able to look at things from different angles in your performance. Because when you're writing it down, whether you're typing it out in your OneNote or GoodNotes, or you're writing it out on paper, you're going to come back to some of that and you're going to look at it from a different viewpoint, especially when you've removed yourself from that situation. When you're in a meeting and tensions are high, emotions are running all over the place, you might not be able to see clearly what is happening and might not be able to make good decisions, right? Because you might get caught up in the emotions of other things that are happening. But if you take time later in the day to reflect on that and journal about it, you might see that from a different perspective and recognize that while in that meeting, you might have felt that the other individual was really challenging you and just giving you a hard time about your idea, you might be able to see later on that maybe that's not what was happening at all. Maybe they really liked your idea and wanted to contribute other things to take your idea to the next level. Again, when you take time to reflect on things later, it gives you a whole new perspective and a whole new viewpoint that you can look at different situations and allow you to make better decisions. And again, allow you to be able to improve your leadership skills. When you start improving your leadership skills, you will be able to build and maintain self-confidence. Through journaling, again, you'll be able to see your progress because you will have a whole notebook of your performance that you can look back on and see how far it is that you've come. You can give yourself credit for your wins because you're going to document them and be able to see the little wins over time and how those turn into sometimes big wins for you later on down the road. And you will continue to believe that you have the ability to figure things out, which that is the root of confidence. It's belief in yourself and your ability to figure things out. Now that you know the benefits of journaling, let's talk about how it is that you can get started. And if you have resistance to journaling in the past, or maybe you've tried it and it didn't work, what I'm going to share with you as far as steps to get started or tips, these are very basic and easy things for you to be able to do and that anybody can do right now with items that you already have in your home or in your office. All right, one way to get started, and I took this from John Maxwell. I heard him say it in a seminar that he was teaching. I've heard him say it on the podcast. I've read it in some of his books, and it just resonates really well with me. And that's to jot before you journal. Now you might be wondering, what does jotting mean? Just means writing things down. It could be bullet points and lists. You might just start with writing down, these are the things I need to buy from the store. Or these are the things that I want to be able to remember. These are the things that are most important to me. It might be jotting down what are your habits or tasks that you need to complete that day, that week, that month. It could also be just random thoughts and just whatever comes to mind, no matter what it is. The point of jotting before you start journaling is just writing things down because jotting is journaling. And you might be holding yourself to a standard of where I need to write full sentences and paragraphs. And if that's the way you journal, great, go for it. That's what works for you. But if you're just getting started and you're really nervous about it and you're not sure if you can do it, just jot things down. Just jot them down, whether it's on paper or in an electronic notebook for you. Another one is to start small. Don't overwhelm yourself trying to write pages and pages of journaling. Write one sentence a day. Maybe at the end of the day, you document one win that you had. It might be listing out your strengths and areas of growth. You could even write out affirmations or I am statements every single day just to get you started in building that habit. You don't have to start off right from the bat writing pages and pages. That's not what journaling is all about. Remember, it's about creating self-awareness and being able to connect with who you are. And that might mean that in order for you to build the habit, you just need to start small. Again, one thing, one sentence. Your goal for journaling might be to fill out one line in a notebook every single day. Whatever that is, just start small. Don't try to go all in and journal 10 pages a day right from the start. You're going to set yourself up for failure and you're going to be disappointed with the outcome. Another tip that I have to help you get started journaling is create a routine around it. Look for the time of day that works best for you right now in the season that you are in and make it a habit that you do every single day. If you need to, block that time on your calendar so you know that you have dedicated time to journal each day. This is a great item for your workday startup and shutdown routines. And if you're not sure what that is, go back and check one of the last two episodes on the podcast that I did about time management, because I talk and go more in depth about that. But when you're starting your day, you just might start journaling. What are your priorities for the day? Or what are some key metrics that you need to be looking at every single day? At the end of the day, again, you can go back to documenting your wins, lessons that you learned that particular day, how you felt about your leadership. Did you show up as the leader that you desired to be? Or did you maybe have an off day and not show up exactly how it is that you wanted? Maybe you even received a great compliment that day. Write it down in your journal so you don't forget it and you can come back to it when you need that little pick me up. Plus, you can even expand on that compliment and write down how it made you feel. What actions did you take that led to the compliment, so that way you know what it is that you need to repeat in the future? On the flip side of that, you could also journal about challenges and where you didn't feel so great about your day, how that made you feel, and what are some decisions that you could make differently or things that you want to do maybe differently the next day. Another great way to get started is to use a prompt. Prompts are a great way to get your thoughts started. It gives you something to think about and contemplate, and may even open up thoughts and feelings that you didn't even know you had. They can help you in creating your leadership vision and philosophy and give you a new perspective on leadership that you may not have thought of. Now, I don't use prompts every single day. I do use them often though, especially if there is an area that I'm really trying to focus on and I'm wanting to tap deep into my thoughts to see different perspectives on it and be able to track my progress on what it is that I'm working on. I find them especially helpful on days when I'm really tired or cranky or just unfocused, because they get me back into the leader mindset that I'm striving to have every single day. I also use journal prompts when I complete my weekly, my monthly, my quarterly, and my annual reviews. I go back to the same questions in each one of those reviews that I answer every single week, month, quarter, and year. What that does is that allows me to make sure that I'm focused and reflecting on the things that I'm currently working on and that I'm measuring. And it allows me to be able to look at those prompts over a period of time to be able to see, am I making the progress that I desire to? Am I on track to hit the next milestone or the next goal? And when I get back to the end of the year, I can see, how did I answer this question on January versus how am I answering it now on December 31st? Another great way to get started in journaling is to set a timer and just write what comes to mind for that period of time that you set the timer for. It doesn't have to be a long time. Journaling isn't about the quantity of what you're writing, it's about the quality of what it is that you're writing. Start with maybe 3 minutes or 5 minutes and build up from there if you feel that you need and or want to. Again, this kind of ties back into starting small. It doesn't have to be journaling for 30 or 45 minutes every day. A lot of times when we're starting a new habit, when we set long periods of time for us to do those habits or to commit to, we tend to not do them because we tell ourselves the story of, well, I don't have 30 minutes today, or oh, that's going to take 30 minutes. I don't want to do it. I'll just skip it and I'll do this thing that's only going to take me 2 or 3 minutes. So set a timer. That way you know that when that timer goes off, you're done journaling. You know that you're committing to a shorter period of time and you're setting yourself up for more success, that you'll actually do it. My last tip for you to get started in journaling is use your favorite method, whether that's paper or digital. One of the best ways to start anything is to ensure that you are using tools and taking actions in a way that you know already works for you. If you don't like being on the computer or using electronic items, then journaling on your computer probably won't work either. Or if you're trying to do it first thing in the morning and not trying to be online, then you may want to use a paper notebook so you're not apt to get distracted by the things that you are trying to not connect with when you start your day. If you love digital tools like OneNote or GoodNotes, then go for it. Dive in, start journaling there. It's not about the method that you use, it's about choosing the method that works for you. So now that you know how to get started and you have small steps that you can get started on, I want to share with you what my current favorite journaling items are. Now, these have changed over the years and the seasons of my life because I adjust what I'm doing to where it is that I'm at. And as I've grown in my journaling practice, some of the tools that I've used have grown alongside with me. Now, one of my favorite journaling items is a Leuchtturm 1917 A5 dotted notebook. Now, I know this is a very specific notebook, but if you know, you know about the notebook. Their notebooks are fantastic and they are amazing. The covers, they feel so soft and smooth. Plus, they come in a variety of colors. So you can pick a color planner, maybe based on the season. Use a brighter color in the summer and maybe a deeper color in the fall. The paper is soft and it's so easy to write on. And I love the A5 size because that's easy for me to take with me anywhere it is that I am going, whether I'm going to the office or traveling, or if I want to carry it, up and downstairs at my house. It's a nice, small, compact size. So I have no excuse to not journal because I can take it with me wherever I go. Now, they are a little pricey for a notebook, so it may not be where you want to start or the investment that you choose to never want to spend, but it could be something that you use as a great reward for you in the future. You can find notebooks that are far less expensive that work great. When I first started journaling, I used a spiral notebook that I could get at the local store when they were like 10 or 15 cents. And I would buy 4 or 5 of them at this when they were at the start of school season when school supplies are out. So I knew I could get them super cheap, and that's what I used. Then I found some dot grid notebooks that I started using that were inexpensive. And then I've more recently moved into the Leuchtturm notebooks. That was just a progression for me and how I've evolved in my practice and really wanting to elevate the tool that I was using. Now, I know that Michaels does have some pretty awesome and amazing softbound notebooks that are less than $6 that I absolutely love, and I've used them for many things. And because they are inexpensive, I don't feel as guilty being messy or using up a lot of pages because it's cheap. It's a cheaper notebook and it's something that I don't really feel like I need to put anything specific in them. I can just get creative and just write down whatever it is that I want. And if I scratch out a page or rip out a page, it's not really that big of a deal. Another tool that I like to use a lot right now is the Zebra Z Grip pens or any multicolor pen. Those particular pens, they do come in a variety of colors. I do like to journal also with a ballpoint pen because it just writes a little bit nicer in my notebooks and I don't have to worry about them smearing, which helps me release perfection and embrace the mess that journaling is. I like multiple colors in case I want to highlight something or use a color as an indicator that I can easily see. Sometimes I write specific things in specific colors, or I like to change colors daily so I can see where one entry stops and the next one starts, which that then leads me into my next favorite, and that is journal keys. This is something that I've created for myself, but it's a way for me to be able to flag something in my journal that I know I'm going to want to extract later. My key is loosely based off of the bullet journal method key. So you can do a quick search online and see what that looks like and maybe pull some of the indicators and symbols that they use if that's something that you think would work for you. I like having it because it's also part of my learning process, and that's to be able to document and extract what it is that I journal about. So journaling opens up a lot of ideas and thoughts that I don't want to lose. So I created a system that allows me to be able to go and pull out whatever it is that I want to save and leave behind whatever it is that I don't feel like I need to save or use for something else. So the key that I use just dashes that are just for standard notes if I'm writing in an outline format or just jotting down some thoughts. I use a square box for action items or journal prompts that I thought of. I use a star for something that's important, like a quote or a thought that I want to make sure that I remember. I use an exclamation point for ideas that I get when I'm writing. And I'll use an R with a circle around it for items that I want to research further. The most important thing about using a key is keep it simple. Keep it something that you can easily do with a pen. That's one of the reasons I like this particular method, and this key is because I don't need any special tools. I don't need a highlighter or page flags or anything like that. It's something that I can easily do with my pen, and then I know that it's there. I know what they mean for me. I don't really have to think too hard about it, and as I'm scanning back through my journaling, I can easily identify the things that I want to pull out and put someplace else. The last favorite of mine is my Sunday journal prompt that is in my leadership community. Yes, this is a plug for joining my community. So if you haven't yet, click the link in the show notes and join my A Leader's Journey community on Facebook. But it's also a prompt that I actually use every single Sunday when I'm journaling. Most of those prompts, they come from experiences that I've had or thoughts that other leaders have shared with me. These prompts, they are a great way for me to shift my mind from what I'm currently thinking and give me something to contemplate as I go throughout my week. A lot of time, the prompt that I use on Sunday is something that I will be focusing on maybe for that particular week, and it helps me keep it front of mind. So as I'm going throughout my day, I'll think about what I wrote on Sunday, and I can continue to add to that entry in my journal about how does my thoughts shift, or are there new ideas that I came up with as I continued to really think about that as I went throughout my week. As we get ready to wrap up this episode, I hope that you are inspired to start or continue your journaling practice. Remember, there is no right way to journal. You just need to get started. Journaling can be an extremely effective tool in your leadership toolkit. To get the most out of it, don't hold yourself to a standard of perfection. Don't criticize or stress about what you did or did not write. Don't try to edit your thoughts. Let it be freeform. Write down what comes to mind and let it be a little bit messy, and let it be a creative process for you. My best journal entries, they are messy. They are incomplete sentences. They have cross-outs all over them. They're not the most prettiest thing in my notebook, but they are the best ideas that I had and the best thoughts that came up for me as I was writing. Remember, you are not writing the final copy of your novel. You're just writing down your thoughts. So just go for it. Again, as a reminder, don't forget to join my exclusive leadership community. That's where you will be able to get my Sunday journal prompts every single week. And they might help you in getting started with your journaling practice. I appreciate you spending some time with me today and chatting about journaling. Until next time, lead with confidence and show up every day as the leader you desire to be. Thanks for listening to A Leader's Journey podcast. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. If you're excited to learn more, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and tune in next week for another exciting leadership lesson. I'd love to help you level up your leadership, achieve the goals you desire, and design your unique leadership journey. So click the link in the show notes to schedule a free Level Up Your Leadership session. During this time, we will define where you are in several key areas of leadership, where you desire to be, and how you can level up your leadership. You don't need to do this alone, so let's chat today and get your journey started. Don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn or in the A Leader's Journey community on Facebook, and share this episode with another leader so we can all learn and grow together. That's all for this episode, and I'll see you next week. Until then, lead with confidence, show up every day as the leader you are striving to be, and make the decision today to level up your leadership this year.